Without a plan of attack, it's nearly impossible to get anything done well. Whether you're launching a new product, sightseeing in a new city, or simply cleaning the house. Everything becomes easier, planning, getting the right people involved, and actually doing the work when you have a solid framework to guide your projects. My name is Lulu Richter, a technical project manager at Smartsheet and a certified project management professional, or PMP. Here I'll give you an overview of 5 of the most common project management methodologies: Waterfall, Agile, Scrum, Kanban, and Lean, and talk through real-life examples of projects that map to each method. Then I'll give you some tips on how to decide which one is best for your project, team, or organization. First off, what is a project management methodology anyway? Think of it as a formal framework, a set of techniques, procedures, and processes that you apply to a project. The methodology you choose will help you manage everything from budget and schedules to resources and communication. Here's a closer look at the most popular ones. We'll start with Waterfall, or traditional project management. In the Waterfall method, you establish a set of clearly defined tasks and complete them in order as you work towards a final deliverable. Because tasks in Waterfall projects have to be completed sequentially, it's considered a more rigid methodology with little room for change. Think of it like baking a cake. In order to create a tasty, well-made cake, you'll need to follow the directions in order and bake the cake for a certain amount of time. Skipping a step, doing them out of order, or baking the cake for too little time would result in an underbaked, inedible dessert. Sad. Similarly, Waterfall is best for projects that require concrete deadlines, a high degree of planning and control, and one large set deliverable, like, say, a building in a construction project. Waterfall isn't a great option for projects that are subject to a lot of change or need to be more flexible. Our next method, Agile project management. Agile actually refers to an entire family of methodologies, including traditional Agile, Scrum, and Kanban. All these Agile methodologies share a focus on both flexibility and continuous improvement. In traditional Agile project management, teams focus on smaller, incremental tasks that they continually review, refine, and iterate on based on feedback, updated requests, and changes in resources. Tasks may happen simultaneously or non-linearly in Agile project management. Think about Thanksgiving dinner. It's a huge endeavor, but when you break up the effort into incremental tasks, the whole thing becomes more manageable. You'll have to prep the turkey, put it in the oven, start on the sides, take the turkey out to let it rest, change the oven temperature to bake the pie. You get the picture. Agile also prioritizes continuous feedback, which often results in changes to the original project plan. For example, you might sample the turkey and decide it needs a little bit more time in the oven, or try the mashed potatoes and realize they need a touch more cream. Because of this dynamic, Agile is best for projects that require a high degree of flexibility, open lines of communication, and that can adapt to changes throughout the project lifecycle. Next in the Agile family is Scrum, the most popular methodology of Agile. In Scrum, small teams work through project tasks in short, iterative periods of time called sprints. Scrum also calls for specific team member roles: the Scrum Master, who's responsible for the project and keeps the team on track, the product owner, who makes sure the project is aligned with larger organizational goals, and then the Scrum team, who work together to develop the product. Imagine planning a group vacation. To make things more manageable, you might divvy up tasks such as booking flights and hotels, nabbing restaurant reservations, or planning sightseeing tours. To make sure everyone's on board, the group should check in with each other regularly. Eventually, after lots of short bouts of individual effort, the trip will come together. As with traditional Agile, Scrum leads to improved communication between teams and stakeholders, and can also deliver products or services more quickly with lower development costs. Scrum works well for fast-paced projects that have flexibility in scope, resources, budget, and timeline, and for teams who can be focused on one work sprint at a time. The last methodology in the Agile framework is Kanban, which aims to eliminate process bottlenecks and match work volume to resource capacity. In Kanban, teams use a visual Kanban board to show task status by moving each through 3 stages or lanes: to do, doing, and done. and prioritizing work based on team member availability. Picture your list of home improvements: fixing the garage door, sanding the deck, hanging pictures, installing an AC unit. To keep things moving, you could use a Kanban chart and place each task in the appropriate column. Then, move each task through the columns as you complete it. Using Kanban will help make sure that you don't have too much on your plate at one time, and it will also keep you accountable to actually address your backlog. Much like the other Agile methodologies we've discussed, Kanban is great for projects that require a high level of flexibility. On the flip side, Kanban and the other Agile methodologies are not great for more rigid, sequential projects with a clearly defined scope and a hard deadline. And for the fifth and final methodology on our list, Lean. As the name suggests, Lean is a streamlined approach to project management. It's a process improvement methodology focused on minimizing waste, both in terms of time and resources. And it helps identify bottlenecks, minimize delays, and eliminate other process inefficiencies. For example, you could use Lean to optimize your morning coffee routine. In order to beat the morning rush, you need to develop systems to keep things moving, even on the busiest of mornings. So preload your order into the coffee shop's app, leave your purse and keys by the front door, know the quickest route, and use mobile ordering to avoid waiting in line. It may take some trial and error to identify the most seamless sequence of events, but doing so will save you loads of time and stress in the long run. Lean is a great methodology for teams who want to improve processes in order to deliver better outcomes. But if you're happy with the way your processes are running or have a team who are resistant to change, Lean may not be the one for you. So now that you have a basic understanding of the top 5 project management methodologies, how do you know which one is right for you? In general, you can narrow down the list by assessing 3 key factors: project complexity, overall flexibility, and work type and timeline. Let's start with project complexity. If your project isn't super complex, maybe it only includes a few tasks, a small number of internal stakeholders, and a manageable number of resources, you should use a straightforward methodology like any of the Agile frameworks or Lean. If your project is more complex with a large number of tasks and dependencies, or multiple stakeholders and lots of resources, a more structured methodology with well-defined project components, like Waterfall, will be best. Next, think about how flexible your project is. If your project is more rigid, has mostly sequential dependent tasks, and leads to one final large deliverable, use a defined, predictable methodology, like Waterfall. But if your project is flexible, allows for continuous feedback and improvement, and doesn't require a defined set of tasks or timeline, use a more fluid methodology like Agile, Scrum, or Kanban. And lastly, think about the type of work you're taking on and its timeline. Large sequential projects with many dependent tasks and resources and set milestones and timelines, like those in construction or manufacturing, are better suited to traditional methods, like Waterfall. Smaller, more iterative projects with short periods of work, continuous feedback cycles, and timelines that are subject to change, like those in software development, work best with Agile or Lean methodologies. And there you have it. You've got all the info you need to pick a framework and get to work. For more helpful tips and tricks, check out the Project Management Guide and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Or if you're looking for a better way to plan, track, and manage your projects, take Smartsheet, a powerful work and project management software, for a spin with a free 30-day trial.